It's like more like cheers. So I'll play one of my songs, which is free. I wrote it a while back. Get it right. Sitting alone on the train, sitting by myself, easy pain. Really doesn't matter to me, 'cause I know that I'm free now. Sitting alone on an aeroplane, sitting by myself next to the window pane. Really doesn't matter my bill, 'cause I've been through heaven and hell. Yeah. Running out of time, running out of mind. You're free now. You're free now. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Really doesn't matter much to me, 'cause I know that I'm free. Really doesn't matter what they say, 'cause I know every single one of them will go away someday. Running out of time, running out of mind. You're free now. You're free now. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Now it's like time for Monty Python, and now for something completely different. I like that. So the most epic song that there was that weird transitional period in music, and the weird transition was the death of the hair metal in the 1980s, and the death of new wave, and the rise of grunge, and that was the biggest, and kind of I guess like disco was turning into like electronic dance music. So music was becoming more electronic increasingly. So the most interesting period of music to me is when the music loses its identity and it doesn't have an identity. It doesn't have a sound. It's just kind of lost. So that's the way it felt in that transitional period. And it was the transitional period between, the fall of the Berlin, the end of the Berlin Wall, and the fall of the Soviet Union. So there was a lot of world transitions going on, but the music reflected the transition too. And so, yeah, I noticed on the Street Fighter trailer, it's trying to invoke early 1990s vibe. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I noticed they played the big hit from the early 90s, Four Non-Blondes, the infamous What's Going On song. The signature song for confusion, doubt, and angst, and grief. It's one of the signature songs, isn't it? Yeah. I think I first, like when I was 10 or 11 and I first heard it in the early 1990s, I said, whoa, this is depressing, but I like the song's good though, but it's kind of depressing. They also came out with Runaway Train. That was depressing, but it was a great song by Soul Asylum. Also saw the emergence of like Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, maybe he was like overhyped when he came out because he was black, and they were overhyping him as like the next reincarnation of Jimi Hendrix or something. But he was pretty great though. There was this kind of musical movement, at least early on, bands trying to recreate former glories in the 1960s, classic artists and classic groups. And so maybe Four Non Blondes doesn't have the monopoly on the most depressing, angst-ridden song. You know, there is Runaway Train, and there is Creep by Radiohead. So I don't know if they have the monopoly on it. It's high up there. Right. No, I love this Whataburger cup because like it's made for an adult, but it looks like a glorified sippy cup because it's basically a sippy cup. This Whataburger cup is great. It's like it's an adult sippy cup. the, that's what every time I was around with people with kids or when I was younger, it was like my sippy cup, and the kid would have the sippy cups. The sippy cup. The the cups that are not supposed to. They're not supposed to spill. They're supposed to, you know, like in case you drop it, it's supposed to stay generally the fluid inside the. And actually, you know, they make like stronger sippy cups for the kids. Yeah. Who may be gravitationally challenged. Gravitationally challenged, eh? Yeah, a lot of people are trying to give me hell for using AI sometimes. Yeah, for thumbnails or whatever. So they're trying to say that because I made Ted farted, that I'm increasing that I'm making memory DD-RAM chips more expensive or something. And then somebody wrote, "I can't wait till they build a data center right next to your house." Ha 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 ha. It's like, do I love AI? I mean, no, it's not my favorite thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm tentative to do the music AI. Like, I don't want AI to be writing music for me or with me. You know, I kind of like the musician tools. Like, I kind of like the stuff where you could like automate beats and shit, and you know, you could like you could play different instruments
I like those kind of add-ons. That's fine with me because you're still making the music, technically speaking, right? I mean, you're still painting your music, you're still designing your vision, right? If you're just using like apps and tools, I mean, that's just like using, Pro Tools or stuff that people would use back in the day. They're just using music programs. I don't see a problem with that. I forgot all the different, music programs there are, but now am I going to like join a fly by night AI website and just start making songs on there and then have the uh, technically they could have the rights to my shit or steal my ideas or some shit like that. So that wouldn't be very cool. That would be like stolen ideas from a fucking soulless motherfucking corporation that doesn't give a shit. It's just sucking people's data. Fuck that shit. So, but just a thumbnail, just a greeting card every once in a while. Fuck it. Making some silly video, Ted farted trailer. No one really gives a shit. And if they do, boo hoo. If somebody's out there is really upset that I used AI, you know, and probably if somebody tries not to use AI, they'll probably use it inadvertently, you know. So if somebody tries to like not use AI, there'll be some technology or some application that you can't avoid that society forces you to use it or something, that you have to complete a task. Like you'll be working for a corporation and then they'll say, John, I know you really don't like AI, but I'd like you to use the AI to organize the products or whatever. Now, Jennifer, I know you're really anti-AI, but do you mind using the AI to make me a new work schedule that I can look over later? Thank you. So I think there'll be a lot of people saying, I'm not. I'd rather quit than use this AI. But your job is going to make you do it. So, and you might think, well, I'm going to be in a field where they're not going to use AI. And I'm like, well, good luck. Good luck with that. Like if you're thinking like I finally found the one company that doesn't use AI. I finally found the job. I can escape AI. And then the first thing on your first day at work, they're going to say, "Guess what? Here AI am." Oh, and by the way, this is your work partner, Pete the robot. You're going to say, I spent all this time trying to escape technology, but I can't. Oops. Yeah, I do believe in like pure from scratch, especially writing. Uh, you know, especially music and writing, internet thumbnails, web design, not so much. Yeah. So, am I building a web page? I'd like to do as an artist. I would draw people's birthday cards and Christmas cards and stuff all the time, and so or various kind of cards, get well or whatever. I used to like crafting them myself, just with pen and paper and pencils and markers, and I used to just doing the whole thing from pencil to finish. I used to, and I like doing things from scratch. But you could also make a card from prompt. That's just another option if you wanted to use that option. So yeah, music. I'd rather not use AI for music because it's just gonna fuck it up. To me. Yeah, if I'm gonna write like a book, I'm not gonna use AI. So that's gonna be from scratch. Music is gonna be from scratch because that's to me that's the pure art form. Yeah. If I'm gonna do an illustrated children's book, that's gonna be pretty much from scratch. Probably hand drawn even, something really old school, all the way from from the ground up. Yeah, I always think that music should be pretty much a pure thing. I don't really like auto tune. These guys that are just like, especially some of these rappers that are just like, that shit's awful. Yeah, it's disappointing if a motherfucker can't sing and he's not talented and he's making lots of money. That's just disappointing by using auto tune or he's using a fucking computer program or something. That's annoying. That's pathetic, really. I mean, it's not going to last. He's gonna make some. He's gonna make some money for a little while, and then it's fucking the ride's over. I mean, that's it. People are gonna get sick of listening to fake shit. That's just a fact. And so, you ought to know that. There's nothing wrong with being a purist. Now, do I think AI is going to enslave humanity like the Matrix or some shit? I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying it won't. There's all sorts of horrifying possibilities in end games for technological evolution. It's not necessarily going to be pretty. I don't even trust like having a service robot. That's creepy, like a blacked out face humanoid figure running around your house. That's scary as fuck. Yeah, I read Isaac Asimov's I, Robot. Not really thrilled about it. So, yeah, I read that myself. I before Will Smith and all that horse shit. I know what Will Smith has to do with fucking iRobot. They just wanted to make big budget sci-fi spectacles with Will Smith for some reason since Independence Day. I'm glad I didn't see Martian Chronicles with Will Smith or Foundation or fucking Journey to Rama. Arthur C. Clarke. I'm glad I didn't see Sphere with Will Smith in it. You know, there was one time where they just want to put Will Smith in everything, even if it didn't make sense, like the Wild Wild West. It's like, why you put Will Smith in everything? He doesn't belong in everything. Yeah, that Will Smith would get cucked. That's really crazy. That his wife would be talking trash about him and cheating on him and shit. That's kind of the last guy you'd expect to. Jada Pinkett. I mean, that's like a what E-list celebrity. I mean, that's like a F-list celebrity. I mean, she was never really that. She was hot for a little while in the 1990s. That was it. That's like a D-list celebrity, really. Cucking Will Smith. That's really crazy if you think about it. Some woman who's not that attractive, not that talented, that just was fortunate enough to marry Will Smith. You know, get him while she could. Gold digger. That's really insane. Who would I believe that he would get cucked and fall for? Like if you thought, you know, let's say Will Smith got cucked in a universe that we could accept. Maybe it would be like he got cucked by Iman, or he got cucked by fucking Holly Berry or somebody really hot back in the 1990s. Like somebody believe like Tyra Banks, somebody like that, like somebody you can believe that he got cucked, that he got played. But Jada Pinkett, get fucking get out of here. That's a joke. Yeah, a lot of Will Smith fans can't even believe that shit's real. They think it's like some strange alternative universe. But you know, whatever happens, I hope Will Smith. You know, I pray for his soul, for his mental health, for his. I pray for his sanity, and I hope his life doesn't have a tragic ending because I'm kind of worried. You know. Just look it out for a brother. Yeah, I wasn't really like a hipster when in the 1990s. I'm really kind of like the anti-hipster. So all the teenage, I think I had to be like probably like a Generation X. I don't know if a lot of millennial. I know some millennials and some Generation Z watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and I've seen different people watch the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, be upset, be watching old episodes and stuff. Uh, to me, maybe I was a little kid, and everybody else was kind of older. I didn't really vibe with it. I mean, of course, I laughed at it sometimes and stuff, but it's pretty much teenagers I was around when I was like 11 or 12. They would watch it, kind of religiously, and I had, I'm more into the musical side of things, so I'm not really into that. I mean, I love entertainment, but music is like to me like the ultimate form of it. It's the ultimate form of spirit. It's the ultimate form of uh, energy. It's like the ultimate form of information. It's like the ultimate form of artistic expression. Like music to me is like the ultimate, and then like TV shows and shit like that's kind of like you know maybe number three or below. Maybe it's number two. Maybe it's number three. In terms of artistic creative expression. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, I guess the teenagers that I grew up with were like hipsters. They were always watching the hippest thing, the trendiest, youthful thing that was happening. So they were always watching like Beverly Hills 90210 and Fresh Prince of Bel Air back in the day. They were just trying to find out whatever was the coolest thing. And I guess I was never really one of those hipsters that was really looking for what was the coolest thing. So I guess I was never really looking for what was the coolest thing. I was always looking for what was the best thing. I guess the most quality thing is what I was really looking for. But yeah, I had that. I listened to that record, Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. Parents just don't understand. I like that one. That was good. So I kind of gravitate towards the musical side of things, like that, like sitcom and like ha ha ha, that kind of laugh track kind of shit. That shit's kind of boring to me, especially after you've seen that like over and over again. Like, have you seen one fucking 2.5 minute episode? You've seen them all. It's the same shit. It's like the same formula every time. Charlie got drunk and fell on his ass. He's trying to get pussy and ha 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 ha. And then it's like the same thing over and over. And a lot of times it's funny, but it's like that formula gets old though. It doesn't change that much, so it's not very exciting. Oh look, guess what happened on the next episode? Charlie got drunk and he tried to suck on some titties, and then whatever, dude. It's just the same bullshit every time. It gets boring. It's like the same. It's like the same formula. Now, I'm not anti-formulaity because sometimes formulas work, like E equals MC squared, to build a nuclear weapon to destroy millions of people or thousands of people at once. And that's very useful if you want to obliterate your enemies. But so you want reliable and reproducible formulas if you want to destroy your enemies and kill all your adversaries, obviously. So I'm not formulaity. I'm anti-monotony. So, and sitcoms a lot of times get very monotonous. Try as they might. Well, I did enjoy Independence Day. Kind of enjoyed Men in Black. Kind of enjoyed Bad Boys. I think I know that last Bad Boys was real good. I have to say, and I'm not even a big Bad Boys fan. I just thought that was a pretty exciting. That was a good movie. It was all right. Kind of brought back that what people loved about like Lethal Weapon. Um, but when I was a kid, they had this show from the 1960s. Now the thing about the 1960s shows is that they're real campy, they're real colorful. There's bright colors, and that's what it's psychedelic. Like the people making these everything's psychedelic. Like just seems like every pulp show, Batman, Star Trek, the Wild Wild West, everything is just colorful out the ass. I mean, it's amazing. The Brady, well, I guess the Brady Bunch in the 1970s, Lost in Space, everything's just super colorful. And so that's what I remember about the 1960s television shows, 1970s too, to a certain extent. Very colorful, psychedelic, interesting patterns going on. Uh, so the Wild Wild West is about these two guys that are that are like they're like secret agents for the federal government. It's kind of like Cowboy X Files, is basically what it's like. I hate to call it the Cowboy X Files, but that's what it's like. So it's like it's a retro show where the cowboy before the X Files and the federal agents had to stop plots from foreign governments and cults and gangsters and stuff trying to take over destroy the USA and all that. And every week, it's a serial they have to stop in the Wild Wild West. I mean, I could read the official synopsis. I like how I'm characterizing it, just based off photographic memory of childhood memories. I like just basing it off that. Yeah, I could use AI or Google. It would tell me exactly who the characters are. It'd tell me everything about it. But I like this version better. I like to just call it Hill Cowboy X Files. That's better. So then I hear they're going to make a Wild Wild West movie. And I'm like, they're going to make a Wild Wild West movie? When I was like 20 or something working at the movies. Or was it the late 90s or whatever? So when I was younger, in the teens or the 20s, I heard they're going to make a Wild Wild West movie. Oh my God, that was like one of my favorite shows as a kid. Like the cowboys had to stop the bad guys from destroying the U.S. government and destroying the USA. And woo, that was so fun. I loved it. And they have all sorts of gadgets and stuff. It's kind of like Cowboy James Bond X Files. Is that a better characterization? Yeah, maybe I should say add James Bond Cowboy X Files. That makes a lot more makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. I'll do the official synopsis just because it's fun to compare my photographic memory notes and the actual what it is. That's more fun, isn't it? Yeah. Let's do it. Photographic human brain versus computer. Oh, it's fun to do. Okay. Where's the TV show? Okay, television series? Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah.
What you doing? I'm
Hey,
going,
what's
wow.
up? Oh, yeah.
5, 6,
Oh.
7, 8. Right?
You have 12? Oh, you do? Thank you so much. Oh, you didn't have to.
No, but
Thank
everything
you.
you did, I was just.
13?
No.
No.
12. I mean, no. 12.
Okay, 200. No, I'm just
I'm gonna
saying.
pay $1 for me.
Oh, okay. All right, then. Thank you. You're the greatest. I love you, mama.
It looks better, right?
What is it? Let's see what it looks. Very. That's excellent. Thank you. Oh my gosh. So this is the. Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh. Ouch. Oh.
And then last night, I just assumed Dan was gonna sleep on the side that Julie sleeps on.
Yeah.
And no, Mom's bed is slanted like this, and then you have to go around their bed, king size bed,
Yeah.
and it's metal down at the bottom, and then Mom's hospital bed is slanted
Oh.
because they've got so much furniture. Anyway, Dan nicked his shin, and he was bleeding last night
Oh no.
because he likes sleeping on that other side
Oh.
where I always sleep, but. I just assumed he would have slept on Julie's side because he can get up and go to the bathroom if he needed to, or get up and walk over to Granny. It's
Yeah.
harder to get by, you know. Like I said, I sleep myself.
Dun, dun, dun. The Wild Wild West. This is the girl that I love the best. Hair so wild. Yeah. Ooh. All right, so we do the synopsis. See if I was close. All right, so here it goes. Charming gunslinger James West and Artemis Gordon, an inventor and master of disguise, are the country's first Secret Service agents. Yeah, long before the Federal Bureau of Investigation, traveling the Old West at the behest of President Ulysses S. Grant, fighting villains, encountering beautiful women, and dealing with fiendish plots to take over the world. Now, magically, this show from 1965 to 1969 has an IMDb rating of 8.1 out of 10, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. So it's not just my rose-colored glasses that says the Wild Wild West was a great series, but well, the evidence speaks for itself. I haven't watched it since I was a kid. Now, what happens is that the reason why I know a lot about 1960s shows is that in the 1980s they did a lot of syndication, a lot of reruns of old 1960s shows. Even before that, 1950s, anything post World War II. Uh, so it was 1950s, 1960s, 1970s show. They do a lot of syndication and reruns, maybe even the first syndications of the shows. So that's why I got to have the pleasure of seeing a lot of the shows. So I don't really like Car 54, Where Are You? Or Mr. Ed, but I know of it. So at least I have familiarity with some of these old shows. And if I was born in a different time, I wouldn't, pretty much, unless I stumbled upon it or something. But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to subject anybody to Car 54. Where are you? To be honest. I did like that old show, Dragnet, with Joe Friday. Just the facts, man. That was a great one. I kind of like that one. Just the facts, man. Joe Friday, and they play that da 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 da. Da. Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that's Pink Panther, but it had some kind of cool like I sang Pink Panther because I'm drunk instead of what the real song is. Oh well, but Dragnet had a cool police tune. So I'm getting all excited about the Wild Wild West, the movie that's going to come out. And I remember the original series being pretty much white people, Caucasian European guys. And yeah, that's not what happened in the movie, obviously. And then I heard the casting of the movie, and I was like, what the fuck? Well, in the series, the guys are white dudes. Okay, so Artemis Gordon is white Kevin Kline, but race and ethnicity and race swapping aside, Kevin Kline in fucking the Wild Wild West? What? He's not a cowboy. He looks like a gay Frenchman or something. He doesn't look like a cowboy. What the fuck is this? Kevin Kline? Okay, a fish called Wanda, something like that. He was great in I Love You to Death, but the fucking Kevin Kline in a Wild Wild West? Kenneth Branagh as the villain? He's English. He's fucking English. He can't play a hillbilly Confederate. He's fucking English, literally. He's Shakespearean, dude. He's from the United Kingdom. Jesus, Ahab asked Christ. What was the casting of the studios thinking? And then the femme fatale. I mean, it could be any race and ethnicity, but they spiced things up again. They did Selma Hayek, and who doesn't want to see Selma Hayek as the love interest? So can't fault him on that. But obviously, there are Hispanic and Spanish people and black people in 19th century America, but it's not like the show, though. So, like, the heart of the show made it successful is that the characters, it made sense, like the casting. So then the main characters, oh God, oh God, James West. They cast Will Smith, and this movie was killed any hope of there being a 21st century Wild Wild West franchise. This movie just bombed it to shit, and it was uh, yeah. I went and saw this piece of shit, and I was thinking, what in the fuck were they thinking? And it's like uh, it's not even racial. It's not even ethnic. What was made me mad? It's like if I wouldn't cast Zorro as an Englishman, right? Similar to that, because Zorro's Hispanic. He's Mexican. Makes sense.
Huh? Oh, it's still my baby. I got it on the stand. I don't know why the media is talking about aliens all the time. No, as far as this thing's concerned, like trans people. You ready?
Do, 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 do the elixir down. Do, do, do.
What we do for this make the channel complete. Make the vid, as it were. So on the iPhone Pro 17, it's 8:45. It's time for the wheelers, mixers, elixirs, bizzlers. Time to get down to Bizzler. We have our spoon. We have put our spoon here. And we get the iPhone 17 Pro ready. The liquor is in with the Diet Coke. Wheelers, mixers, elixirs, bizzlers. Time to get down to Bizzler. And that's the iPhone 17 Pro ready. The operation is successful. Cheers. So the Wild Wild West movie, 1999, was this masterpiece called the Wild Wild West movie was 4.9 out of 10 on the IMDb, the International Movie Database. And then it's 16% on the Rotten Tomatoes, 40% by Metacritic. In other words, it's a piece of total shit. I've only seen this atrociousness once in my life, and that will be the only time I'll ever see it. At least intentionally. Unless I'm held against my will and forced to watch it by the Chinese communist spies. They'll say, when they capture me, they'll say, we'll torture this American. We shall torture him by Chinese water torture? No. Sleep deprivation? No. Wild Wild West, 1999. I know I'm in China. Can I request the Gulag, even though that's Russia? I'd like to request the Gulag. I think it was I think it was maybe the Wild Wild West movie that you realized that Hollywood and people in Hollywood could shit on your childhood and take a big steamy pile of shit on it. And you know, and for George Lucas to dabble in the Old Testament with the prequels, that was like kind of taking a crap on our childhood, but it was kind of acceptable. So if the same guy who wrote something great makes some shit, kind of craps on his own thing, if he Robert De Niro's his own shit, if he's like has a Trump derangement problem, and Robert De Niro takes a shit on his legacy by fuck Trump for his final years, final days, then that's what he's choosing to do. I mean, that's the guy. It's not like somebody else is pretending to be him taking a shit on Trump's legacy or whatever, or saying fuck Trump or whatever. So it's still disgraceful, but it's not as blasphemous, I guess, is what I'm saying. I mean, if I take a shit on a guy's rug, then he's gonna hit me in the face or call the police. If a guy who owns a house shits on his rug, it's kind of acceptable because he owns that rug. You know, so that's what makes it acceptable. Is that he bought the rug and he can shit on it. And that's fine. It's like Robert De Niro. He can shit on his legacy, shit on his career because it's his. It's not mine. Okay, there we go. But what was, besides the Wild Wild West? What was another even older franchise that they took a shit on? That studios took a big donkey dump on. It was the what they did many donkey dumps on. I mean, Transformers itself with Shia LaBeouf was blasphemous. It just happened to be so entertaining that people just kind of swept that under the rug. They kind of swept their feelings. But I think most people were offended by the Transformers live action. Uh, I mean, the money receipts don't say it, but kind of like, quietly people are like, well, the first one at least people said, well, they took it kind of shit on the legacy, but they got the voice and the characters, and it's kind of fun, comic book type movie. Like a lot of people, loved it. It was nostalgic enough. It wasn't a total middle finger to the people that grew up with Transformers and stuff like that. It wasn't a complete middle finger. It was kind of having a, it was kind of a problem. Shia LaJew, running around, that was a problem in and of itself. They could have picked a more handsome guy, a more talented guy, a more talented actor to play Sam Witwicky, but Shia was, had luck and he was hot at the time, so. Shia LaBeouf, Hollywood's favorite Jew, the favorite Jewish Hollywood guy. I guess he's kind of having a crash out, So people crashing out in their late 30s and 40s. They got all the money. They can get any women they want. They just seem really upset for some reason. I don't know. Got all the money. You can get all the punani you want. What's up? You're not happy for some reason. That's pretty bizarre. You thought poor people would be like the unhappiest people, but look, it's these people who have everything that seem to be the saddest. That's crazy. Then in 2009, I barely remember this from when I was a kid. I remember the Wild Wild West show, Wild Wild West television show from 1965 to 1969, watching the reruns in the 1980s. I remember that show very, very clearly. I had a very clear idea of the characters and the situations, and I really enjoyed it. But there was a show I saw when I was a kid that started in the 1970s, and it was about these. It's kind of like a family goes through a dimensional portal, and they end up in a prehistoric world with dinosaurs, and there's different like humanoid species there. And I remember a show like that, and I didn't know. I forgot the name of it when I grew up. It was called The Land of the Lost. But when I was a kid, I fucking loved that show about that family that goes through the portal and goes to the dinosaur, the prehistoric world, prehistoric dimension, and all that. Fucking love that show when I was a kid. So as you know, do re mi fa sol la ti do. Scales of the dragon. This is the most important. Okay, babe. I love a baby called Bellu. Gonna see mama into yeah, ooh, love it, dude.
You're right. No, come on. You're right for Bella. You want one? You want one?
Ooh. But they made a song in the 1980s. They didn't revive the Wild Wild West show in the 1980s, except in reruns, which was probably the impetus for Hollywood making the Wild Wild West movie. Eventually, by 1999, by the turn of the century, it's Warner Brothers Entertainment. Okay, that explains it. I was signed to Warner Brothers for fucking 8 years. Like Frank Zappa used to say, it's the Warner Brothers, isn't it? I mean, Warner Brothers is the corporation that made Prince become a symbol because they're so ruthless and they're so unfair to the artists that artists, even the most talented artists, have to give a middle finger to the corporation because they try to screw over the artist so badly. I mean, at first, I think that when Prince became a symbol, probably maybe some fans thought he was just being a douchebag. When Frank Zappa gave a middle finger to Warner Brothers, they might have think he was being unfair, but it's really this Warner Brothers, which is really like actually it's Warner Brothers. When I did Bill Hicks the other night, that did the strike, did the copyright block on the channel. right? Because they had owned some portions of Bill Hicks. I mean, this company is a fucking monster, like Disney. I mean, they're just ruthless and just horrible, you know. It's like Frank Zappa said, "I have been to hell. I have seen it. I was signed to Warner Brothers for fucking 8 years." That's definitely what it's like to be in hell. It's like being signed to Warner Brothers as a musician or as anybody working for Warner Brothers. Period. No wonder this movie sucks so much wiener. It was run by Warner Brothers. Why did Prince have to change his name to a symbol? Fucking Warner Brothers. Why does this movie suck? The Wild Wild West? Fucking Warner Brothers. I mean, it's pretty obvious by now. It doesn't mean that I don't think that Warner Brothers never had any quality music or shows, you know, but there's Batman 1989, the Warner Brothers cartoons, and the original, what built Warner Brothers, but what Warner Brothers became was like Disney, just like a hollowed out corporate piece of shit, producer of mass garbage, a sewer hole, a sewer hole of slime. That's all it is. Okay, so the Wild Wild West song from the 1980s was by the Escape Club. Now you're probably wondering, they called the old ancient West in America, they called it the Wild West. When did this Wild West, this WW West, this WW3, if you will, when did this come about? Is that at first most people call it the Wild West. When this Wild Wild West song that solidified, or was it the original series from the 1960s that created the Wild Wild West? It's like fun, you know. You got Girls Gone Wild, you got Wild Wild. Is it more Buffalo Wild Wings? Is it just exciting to call stuff double wild? Then why didn't they do triple wild? Because triple wild would be like, wild is wild enough. Double wild is kind of cool because it's wild wild. But do you want to go wild wild wild? That's too wild. But see, if you have Wild Wild West, that sounds great because it's right in the sweet spot of wildness that you want, that you're trying to go for. You're trying to go to the wildness that's kind of like creative, but not too wild, you know, that you're like Justin Timberlake and you're crashing into a tree and you're butt naked. Like you want to get to the wild that's just wild enough, but not so wild that you the One Direction guy and you jump off the building. Like you want to get just wild enough that you don't get to the next level with like in the tragedy level. So you need to have a temperate wild. Get wild, get to the Buffalo Wild Wings, get the Wild Wild West, but you don't want any wilder than that because then you might have to go to Ghost Pepper and have to sign the release form about, did I ever try Ghost Pepper at Buffalo Wild Wings? I'm kind of leery about chicken wing flavors that I have to sign a release form for. That means that maybe I can't breathe if I ate it. So no, I didn't try Ghost Pepper wings. Not because I'm a pussy. It was just because I didn't want to die. Not just, I don't want to die like, you know, soon. So I'm saying. All right. I want to die one day, but not over ghost pepper wings. You know what I mean? I think the difference between knowing I have a photographic memory today, when I'm older, like middle age, and when I was younger, like maybe I started to realize it when I was like early 30s. I think I used to force it. And so I tried to force myself to spend a lot of time in college or the library. I used to force everything. I was trying to force myself to become that, which I already was, a savant, but I was trying to force myself to be the person I wasn't anyway. So it was just a ridiculous exercise. So like I was just pushing myself too hard to be somebody I could just be like that way naturally. I didn't really have to try. So that was, jarring. Um, but now I'm like Ricardo Montalban from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Perhaps I no longer have to try. I'll go on hurting you and hurting you. I will leave you like you left me, like you left her, at the center of a dead planet, buried alive, buried alive. So perhaps I no longer need to try. Yeah, I guess originally when I was younger, I was a big try hard. As they say that's internet slang. Said, "Oh man, this guy's a try hard." Trying too hard. Yeah, like kind of blowing your wheels out. Kind of like just kind of you're trying to grind too hard. You're not realizing what the game is. You know how the strategy. You're over grinding. I used to be an over grinder, like work 4 jobs and just be burnt out, dude. I would just grind, grind, grind. That's how I used to roll, dude. And it was so exhausting, bro. Just grinding and grinding and grinding. I mean, grinding without a goal, purpose. It was real bad. I used to grind my wheels, no pun intended, real bad. Now I don't do that anymore because I'm smarter than that. I used to, you know, blow the whatever they call it, break, the hernia, what they call it, blow the fucking. I used to try to work so hard that I broke my back. I realized it wasn't worth it. So I used to try to like emulate like Benjamin Franklin and Poor Richard's Almanac. I tried to be like the guy that was waking up early and go and grind at the corporation. I used to be just like that. I wanted like all the people that thought they could be successful. They all had this philosophy, this mentality that was kind of like Poor Richard's Almanac from Benjamin Franklin. It was like get up early to bed, early to the rise, makes man healthy, wealthy, and wise. And if you just grinded it out, if you just, follow these certain tenets, like you can be successful just like Benjamin Franklin or whoever. And it was like so many men for so many years in America thought that this was the way to success, just this like hardcore grinding. And for a while it did work, when manufacturing, if your society is built off manufacturing where it takes men being strong to like build things and manufacture and make medicine and make goods, then that makes sense that everybody's in this grind philosophy. But if your government and your corporation sold you out and they outsource your jobs to China or to India, then it doesn't make sense for you to still do that same philosophy. It doesn't make any sense at all that you'd even have that same mentality anymore. But so many people in my in the baby boomer generation, especially, kind of held on to this belief that if you got up in the morning, went to work, and work done by you know sundown, that you would be a successful person. Maybe you could be successful living like that today. I don't know if you could, but so the Wild Wild West was by the Escape Club, probably like what, late late 1980s, probably. Oh yeah, let's play that. Let's have a sip of our drink, of course. This is on ultimateguitar.com, by the way. All right. She's so mean, but I don't care. Love her eyes, the wild, wild hair. Dance to the beat we love the best. Heading for the 90s, living in the wild, wild west. Wild, wild west. Is this really even the same key? She's so mean, I don't care. Love her eyes and her wild, wild hair. Dance to the beat we love the best. Heading for the 90s, living in the wild, wild west. Is that really the key of the song? Sometimes this shit's wrong on here. Oh, there's a Will Smith version. Wiggity wow wow, wiggity wow wow. He did a wiggity wow wow. Wiggity jiggity, proclivity niggity, up in the activity. Wiggity 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 jiggity jiggity. Proclivity livity, up in the jiggity. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's not cool, saying livity livity jiggity jiggity. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I don't know if I'm black enough to get to that level. I'm not Afro American enough. But Wild Wild West wasn't even the worst Will Smith movie we saw. So they had this old dollar movie theater, 2010s or something. It wasn't just enough that Will Smith had a cuckold marriage where his woman sleeps with as many guys as she wants to, and he gets shit on. It gets worse. His son is gay. Will Smith is gay. So on top of that, you don't even have a straight son that's going to carry your seed to the next generation. So you become a grandfather and watch the Smiths go on into the 22nd century. Your son's gay. Your son's not just gay, he's real gay. He is flaming gay, like beyond gay, like irrevocably gay, like fruitastic gay. Now, probably Will Smith would be cool if his son was kind of straight and Willow liked girls, and he liked to go fishing, and he liked to go, throw around the football and do like masculine type shit, go camping. Will Smith probably would have loved it, and he probably wouldn't give a shit if his wife was, who's not that attractive, banging dudes all the time. But his son's flaming queer, rainbow boy. And so this is what they call insult to injury, right? It's like, well, my one way to find happiness is closed, like marriage, and my other way is through my son and my heritage. Well, that's gone. So my son's gay. But I'm just gonna do the best I can with this shit card I got. I don't know why. He didn't have to have this shit card. He just kind of fell into it, Kind of woke up one day. Wait, I was the big movie star with millions of dollars. Why am I in this shit? This wasn't supposed to happen to me. It's probably like shocking him when he wakes up every day. So then my friend's like, man, there's this movie called After Earth. It's with Will Smith, and it has a son, Willow Smith. And he didn't come out as gay already, but we kind of knew he was gay. Like immediately when he saw him, you just knew he was gay. Like he had no testosterone, no masculine qualities. He doesn't like to play baseball. You just gotta know. You're just kind of like, that guy's queer, huh? He like puts on women's clothing. He's really into his wardrobe coordinating, and you just gotta know he's gay. Like even when he's like 11 years old, he's gay. Like there's no way. Like he's like, oh, I have to coordinate my outfit and stuff. He's gay. He's put on lipstick and shit, acting effeminate. He's gay. The dude Willow Smith is gay, and so, I mean, it's probably what happened was since Will Smith was so heterosexual that his son Willow, people probably thought, oh, he's just in a phase or whatever at first when he was young. But after a while, it was like, uh-oh, this is not a phase. This is his real self. So, yeah. But that's who he is. It's not really the best seller, but it's who he is. And so then I thought it was like this old cinema, this dollar theater that my friends have been going to high school in the 1980s, 1990s, this old theater with like film, not even digital. Like, so me and the cinephiles are like excited to go to this like 1980s, 1990s theater that has $1.50. And this movie theater off Student Airline and FM 1960 in North Houston is famous for being this $1.50 theater, this ghetto theater, this low budget theater that plays these movies that have bounced out of the mainstream. And so it has the like the old like different marquees. And it has the old concession stand, the stinky popcorn. It has all the sticky, like fucking, like it has all the old ancient, relics of like old movie theaters. It's like kind of iconic, and so that's why it stayed open so long. And plus, they had now my friends told me in high school at this $1.50 movie theater, they used to play. They used to even have pizza and pizza raffles where they give out slices of pizza at this place. So this place had gimmicks. It was at a shopping center, kind of at a nexus in Houston shopping. I guess, it's probably closed down or it's got ghetto or like illegal aliens and probably gang banged it to death. It's probably not around anymore, but it used to be this big thing for a long time. So this iconic kind of unofficial landmark in Houston, or at least North Houston. So, and it was next to an old half price books. So if you're like kind of artistic, kind of guy, you had half price books right there. You could look at like used records and CDs and media. And then they had the $1.50 theater right there. So my friend was like, "Hey, let's go see After Earth with Will Smith and Willow Smith." So I had kind of reservations about Willow Smith, but I was like, "All right, let's go see After Earth with Will Smith." Woo! Will Smith, big star, right? Boom! Let's go see it. So we paid $1.50. Kind of had the authentic experience. Had the popcorn, had candy and everything. Kind of recreating this, 1991 retro experience with my millennial friend, kind of recreating the good old days or whatever. Get some Raisinets with my Sprite and with the popcorn. And, this guy, I'm not a fag, but this is like my friend, we're both single guys at the time. And so we're not getting any punani. So it's kind of it's a bromance date, not a gay date, but yeah. So we watch it. It comes on After Earth. Will Smith. Will Smith. Oh, this kid. This kid. This kid. Fuck. Fuck. No. We paid $1.50 for this. Jesus, Lord, Creator God. I knew we had sinned, but I knew we had fallen from grace, but not fallen for grace so hard that we had to sit through After Earth. God, that was fucking the shittiest movie I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of shitty movies in my life, but this is a pile of dog trash shit. Like I can't even believe. After Earth. Never, never again. Never again. Thank you for making gay Planet of the Apes. Thank you. I never wanted to see gay Planet of the Apes, but thank you, Hollywood, for doing that for me. Because now I'll never go to another Will Smith movie again. Thank you. Thank you, Hollywood. I won't even pay 50 cents, even if they have 50-cent Will Smith movie night. I won't even. Gay Planet of the Apes. I know it's hard getting middle age. You don't have as many wet dreams. You wake up in the middle of the night having to pee because your prostate is enlarged. I know it sucks getting older as a guy. You wake up with a hard on and you have to pee at like 5 in the morning because your prostate blew up. Man, it sucks being 40, dude, as a guy. I'm not saying it's easy, dude, but don't kill yourself. I know it sucks having to wake up at 6 in the morning and take a whiz. That shit blows. When we were younger, we took a whiz whenever the fucking wanted to. You didn't wake up with a fucking boner at 2 in the morning to have to take a piss because your prostate was enlarged. Come on, dude. We didn't have to do that shit back in the day. Everything was clockwork. Everything was tight. I get it. I know why you guys want to get on the pills, get on the shit, and just kill yourself because being old, getting older sucks. I feel you. I feel you. But don't kill yourself. All right? So, I know God's a joker and a practical joker of that. Otherwise, he wouldn't design your penis near your prostate where you'd have to be middle aged or old age and wake up at fucking 2 in the morning and have to piss, and then wake up at 4 in the morning and have to piss, and wake up at 7 in the morning and have to piss. Now, if God wasn't a practical joker, he would have designed our penis and our piss a little bit better. But God's kind of a comic. So, what am I going to do about it? God's kind of a joker, you know? Ha ha ha. So, well, I'm glad we met that threshold, though. Because at first, maybe that's a scary thing. People are getting my jokes now. Yeah, at first people weren't listening. Now they are full attention. And I guess that's the scary part. The scary part now is that everybody's laughing at my jokes. I wasn't a very good comic at first, but now I'm like a really good one. I guess that's the horror. It's better to be a bad comic than a great one. I suppose that's the irony. I suppose that's a dialectical irony, isn't it? When people weren't laughing at my jokes, when they weren't particularly too clever, then no one gave a shit. When my jokes started to get good, then people noticed. Sadly. But let's say this: 6 feet under a bridge, rich or broke, I want to tell people that appreciate my comedy and my work or whatever, or songs or whatever it is. I want to tell you people, thank you, God bless you, and thank you, uh, and I appreciate you. That's all I want to say about that. So kind of break it down succinctly. So, thank you very much. Well, you keep chipping away at the mountain, eventually you find a gold nugget. So That's just the Irish spirit's like that. Irish spirit's just like keep going, you know, keep going until you win. Keep grinding. That's just Irish spirit. So that's my family heritage. That's just the Irish credo. You know, Irish spirit doesn't give up; keeps on going until whatever the end is. Doesn't really have a even a destination. It just the Irish spirit just wants to do it. You know, it's just a lust for life. I don't think a lot of people understand what it is unless you're Irish heritage yourself. Then you would know what it's like to be Irish, what it's like to be English, what it's like to be American, what it's like to be any of this stuff. Whether what it's like to be Cherokee Indian from Oklahoma, like Chuck Norris, what it's like to have this drive, you know, you have this like this drive, this lust for life. It's hard to explain what it is, but it is what it is. Hey, yeah. Oh, oh, I'm sorry, baby. Oh, I'm sorry. So you want me to tell you? You want me to you want me to surprise you? You want me to say it? Not say it. Hey, Bob, come in. I want to say something. But I don't trust you. Well, yeah, because it'll tell you what it wants you to know you. And numbers that. Not that, no, I'm not saying I don't trust you. I don't trust you paying the water alone. I'll be over to you. I'd be scared to be sick. No, I'm good. There was that much money at stake. Okay. All right. You come over here, Ben? My love. All right, you're gonna mix the drink. Ah, whoo. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, some people were talking about the 11th scientist that went missing, nuclear research, UFO scientist, anti-gravity propulsion scientist. Really? Normally. Now, I jest about quantum teleportation. I jest about these things because these are kind of like far out science fiction concepts. Quantum teleportation. But then they started to talk about quantum entanglement. So quantum entanglement, you're like, I'll never see that guy from second grade. It's a small world after all, right? So you're like, I'll never see that girl from third grade ever, ever, ever. There's no way. There's no way. The world's too big. That would be too much of a coincidence. Then you go to the Great Wall of China. You think you're far away enough from quantum entanglement. And all of a sudden you think, I beat the system. I'm free, right? I'm free from quantum entanglement. Then you see your friend from second grade. Is that Billy? Really? Yeah. So that's quantum entanglement. We used to call it coincidence. But now we know it's two particles that are separated by vast distances are actually intertwined. They're linked in the space-time continuum. So that's a theory. So a lot of times, whether it's somebody you don't like or somebody you love, sometimes you go somewhere and you say, how are they here? How is the person you love the most your landlord? Or how is the person you hate the most your boss? That's quantum entanglement. Or the old ride at Disneyland, Disney World. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. So they used to do It's a Small World After All to explain quantum mechanics, to write it off as hokey or spooky. So It's a Small World After All was meant to explain complex, chaotic, and intertwined quantum systems. So people would just, why did you see your ex-wife when you went to Morocco? Quantum entanglement. Yeah, you don't ever really escape. Sure, somebody you don't like, you can get away from for a limited time, but you might go to someone else. That bully that used to hit you in the face when you were sixth grade, you might see him when you're 28 in the Marine Corps. It, it, it doesn't care. Now, you might try to explain to yourself, oh, well, the bully that used to beat me up in sixth grade, well, he's in the Marine Corps because he needed a job. You try to rationalize it, right? No. It's because of quantum physics. that you met your bully from sixth grade. It was meant to happen. It was quantum destiny, as it were. Disney and other places try to sell it off as just coincidental. While you meet random people from the past, present, and future, but it was meant to happen. That's the scariest part of all. So people think that they're free. Okay, if you don't believe in God, then people think they're free from God, or they think they're free from quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement, the physical processes of the entire universe of space time. Well, that's not true either. Either or. Whether you call it God, whether you call it fate, whether you call it karma, sounds like Bill Murray from Ghostbusters. Whether you call it karma, whether you call it fate, whether you call it God, we were meant to be thrown out of that dump. So what he's saying is these things were probably meant to happen. And we think as beings or animals or human beings or primates that we have control of our destiny when it may be already plotted by God or by quantum mechanics, which would defeat the idea of predestination or predetermination. Maybe some things are just meant to happen, even if they're terrible. Even if they're unwanted, they were just meant to happen because that's what history or God demanded them to be. And we have little or no determination, or that we might not live in what the scientists call a deterministic universe based on human free will, based on mind power. I could be wrong, but these are hotly debated subjects in science and theology, so that's why they're interesting to me. When I joined the United States Navy, I never thought I'd see Trey. And I was in the boot camp in the United States Navy, and I saw Trey there working. And I said, "How could this be?" But I said, well, we live in the same world, and we needed a job, and we wanted a future, so we joined the United States Navy, right? That's how this works. So we went to work for the U.S. government because we wanted a job, we wanted a future, we wanted money, right? So that makes sense because the United States Armed Forces draws from all people in all walks of life in the United States. That makes sense that we meet each other. Or does it? But there was another part of myself that said, why would I meet Trey, the guy from eighth grade, right now, doing laundry in the United States Navy? I said, how could this be? This doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I mean, to Trey's credit, when we were in eighth grade, he was like, dude, I have $300 Nikes. You're a bitch. He was a bully when I was in 8th grade, and then when I saw him in the Navy, he was a lot more humble man. He was like, "Hey, dude, what's up, bro? I can't believe I saw you." He was real nice. But in 8th grade, he was like, "Dude, I got Nikes, bitch, and you're a bitch. And I got 300 Nikes. You're a poor nigger," and stuff like that. And I was just like, "Oh fuck, this guy's an asshole." But man, if you see people when you're older in the U.S. Navy, or you're in the Marine Corps, in the Army, or Space Force, some Air Force, people don't act like they're in fucking middle school anymore. So thank God for that. Doesn't seem like too much of an asshole. I just have a photographic memory, so I remember when that punk ass bitch was telling me about his $300 Nikes, because I was like, "Bitch, I got a photographic memory. I'm always gonna remember when you're a bitch." So sadly enough. You're not so much of a bitch now that you're a slave in the U.S. government, are you? That you're slaving away. Ha! Look at you in the United States Navy laundry room like a little bitch. Yeah, you're not such a fucking badass now, are you? Yeah. Yeah. Now that you're just a fucking slave, look at you go. Wow. Mm. Now that you're doing Uncle Sam's underwear, you're not so hard, are you? Washing Uncle Sam's panties. But I still love Uncle Sam and the red, white, and blue, and I still love the United States Armed Forces, and I still love the American people, even if I jest about it. I love you guys to death, always will. Period. Stop. Yeah, I'm not as tough as the other Army, Navy, and Marine people. I'm not as tough as those guys. I'm a lot weaker as those guys. I will admit, as a millennial, I am weaker. Yeah, yeah. I'm good at electronics. I'm good at networks. I'm not good at the gritty stuff. I've never been good at. I grew up in the country. I think I'm gritty, but I'm not as gritty as them. So, but I can fucking dance around the fucking code. I could do a network. I could do anything electronic, but I don't know if I'm tough as those guys. I had the salt, you know, my grandfather in the United States Army, and my grandfather in the United States Navy, minesweeper in Vietnam. I don't think I'm as tough as those guys. I know I'm not as tough as those guys. I can't hack it. Those guys could hack anything. And so my grandparents and my grandmothers and my people can do anything. And I think I'm weaker, you know, like in the grit, but I know I'm really savvy at the tech. I think I'm pretty advanced, more advanced than them at like the technology. But I think I'm pretty tough. But I don't think I'm as tough as they were. Obviously. So, I didn't die on a sword in Okinawa. Like some of my ancestors did. So I didn't die getting shot to death like my grandfather did, like Mandela Wheeler Jr. I don't think I'm as tough as those people. I just don't think I'm as tough as army soldiers in the past. I just don't think I'm that tough. I wish I could be that tough, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm a coward. I'm just better at gadgets and shit and computers. I'm just not good at the real world, I guess. And so it is what it is. But For those of service in the United States Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, United States Navy. Thank God for you and your service, and your strength, and your integrity. They never break, you never fail, and you never fail to face a challenge. Save this great republic of ours, these great people called the American people, and try to defend the world against evil and try to bolster the strength of Western civilization and the Americas and the world beyond. And all our allies too. God bless and best of success to the American people, American soldiers fighting for our freedom and liberty around the world, and our allies. God bless and best of success to you all. We support you, and we will always give you our unwavering support. And we'll never stop praying to God, even if some people stop. Hope of Lord. We will never stop. We will never surrender. We will never fold in our belief in God and the United States of America and our people. We will never stop. We will never give up. That is not just an Irish spirit. That is not just a Chuck Norris spirit. That is not just a Cherokee spirit. That is not just an Oklahoma spirit. That is an American pledge and spirit.